Hi, and welcome back to Boss Wife. I'm your host, Ebony. Here is where you'll get your motivation for the week. Here is where you'll get the tools and tips to learn how to live, play, and laugh hard, unapologetically. Here is where you'll learn how to erase the lines in the box because you realize you cannot be contained. Here is where you'll learn how to show up for yourself. Here is where the most powerful transition will begin in your life. Welcome to Boss Wife. Hey guys, and welcome back to Boss Wife. Super excited about rejoining up with you guys, getting started back on the stride, and welcoming you guys back into the fold. So I have been on a summer break. We took the month of June off just to kind of relax, kick back with the kids, and kind of revamp some things. Um, Thank you so much for being patient with me. Thank you so much for just listening to old episodes and just keeping my podcast going, keeping it alive. I have found out so much about myself in this past maybe 4 to 6 weeks that I've been off. And literally, when I say I've been off, I have been off on a break from everything. After our fashion show back in June, July, back in June, I have just kind of been taking it easy, re-evaluating myself, putting more time into my family because they were out of school. Oh, May. It was at the end of May. So I have been off, like totally off. So thank you guys again. I've been working kind of really, really lightly, not really a lot, but now that I am back, I did not want to let the first of the month go by without me saying hello and just rejoining you guys. So let's take a brief time to review over what I've been thinking about and just kind of going through my head about. So taking a pause for the cause, I went through some things in my family. I went through some things emotionally and just trying to figure out where I belong and what my place is and what my role is and everything that I'm doing. And I don't want to continue to overwork myself, overload myself, and kind of just be that superhero person where I'm just kind of doing everything myself. So I did hire a media person, and that has been going pretty good. But I hired her for my studio only, so that kind of took some weight off of me. And then also I have been kind of conversing with her about doing some things for the podcast as well. That will take a lot of things off of me as well, because as you know, being a one-man show is definitely overwhelming. So let's just break some things down. Let's start with the studio. So I kind of felt overwhelmed with my studio. I felt defeated working in my studio. I felt unappreciated. I felt like what I'm doing doesn't matter. My business isn't really taking off the way I wanted it to. I felt like I was just lost in the whole process. I felt like I had a vision, but I felt like I didn't have a vision, if that makes sense. Like I felt like my vision was there, my plan was there, my business plan was there, everything was laid out, everything was mapped out. But I felt like it was a flop, and so I was really down after my last fashion show in May. And the fashion show was great. Don't get me wrong, fashion show was great. Everything went off very, very productively. There was a lot that was put into it, a lot of effort that was put into it. The project was amazing, great project, great show. But I felt like for my standards, it just wasn't there. So that was that. My podcast. Podcasting has been going pretty good. I feel like this is definitely not a tool for the week. You have to do a lot of legwork for the podcast. I have to do a lot of research for my podcast. I have to do a lot of networking for my podcast. And networking for podcasts is totally different than networking, let's say, for my studio. Because for my studio, I'm just pretty much putting out stuff on social media. I'm just kind of mentioning it and, in passing when I meet people. It's kind of a thing that you kind of have to strike up a conversation to talk about for my studio. Also, like it's more word of mouth for my studio. I can do radio shows for my studio. I can do commercials for my studio, in which I've done all of these things. And so getting the word out for my studio isn't as it is and it isn't. It isn't as compelling and demanding as podcasting. Podcasting, you have to stay on it. You can't drop a beat. You can't miss a beat. Like, you have to continue to network. You got to continue to stay on these different apps and these different social media groups, and you have to continue to network and network and network and network. And so, it's not just one email, you're done. It's like you got to continue to converse with people and say, hey, do you want to come join? Do you want to be on my show? Let me be on your show. Like, podcasting is 100% like a 24/7 job. It's just my opinion. Now, you can definitely take a break from it. But in my opinion, if you take a break from podcasting, it definitely goes down. Like, it's going to drop because nobody is listening. Nobody is, I mean, yes, if you grow an audience, yes, they're going to listen. But to me, in my head, like, once you gain that one person, right, for your podcasting, you're gaining them at a certain episode. Now, it's up to them if they want to go back and listen to all those previous episodes, or if they want to just continue to listen to your next upcoming episodes. Because when you're listening to podcasts, and I'm even guilty of this, like, I will listen to a certain episode. Like, I'm looking for something to kind of meet my need where I am at this very moment. And once I find that episode, that's the one episode that I listen to. Now, if I really like the person, I'll go back and I'll listen to previous episodes. But to me, podcasting, it's like listening to music. You kind of look for that thing that's meeting that need at that moment, and then that's it. Like, if you're like an artist, yeah, you're gonna go back and listen to all their stuff, or you're gonna continue to listen to their upcoming new stuff. But if they don't put out anything new, you kind of wear out all the old stuff, right? So to me, that's podcasting. So my podcasting is going mediocre. My views have gone up, which I'm really excited about, really glad about. Thank you so much for those who are steady and consistent and listening to me and just being in my audience. And then there are those who kind of listened to that one episode that kind of grabbed their attention and fed that need at that moment, and that was it. And so with podcasting, it's like I said, it's a 24-hour job. With my coaching, it's a whole nother whole nother beast. It's going pretty good. Again, word of mouth, and it takes a lot of networking. You have to go into these different organizations. You have to put yourself out there. You have to say, hey, this is what I do. Do you need me? Do you not need me? If you don't need me, do you know somebody who does need me? So that in itself is just a whole nother beast. Like, so I have been kind of down about everything that I'm doing. I've also been thinking about going back to school. I'm still raising 4 teenagers. I'm still married. So yes, I do a lot. I have a lot going, and it's very easy to kind of get overwhelmed. It's very easy to shut down and say, I'm done, hands up, white flag, I'm just done. Well, here's the thing about that. When God puts a gift in you and he knows your talents and he knows your strengths, and he knows your weaknesses, right? So the gifts that I have, even though I say, God, I'm done. After my fashion show, I was like, I'm done. I'm just taking a break. I'm focused on my kids, focused on my family. We're going to retreat. We're going to just kind of draw back and, do what we got to do. Well, God continuously poured into me all these ideas. And I said, you know what? I'm not writing them down. I'm not going to retain. I already knew I wasn't going to retain them. But I was like, I'm not writing them down. God, I refuse to continue to be this great visionary person, and I don't have the tools that I need to do it. And so a friend of mine reminded me that everything that God gives you will not go out void. So if he gave you a vision, if he gave you this inspiration, if he gave you this dream, and you feel like everything's a flop, like you feel like you're failing, you feel like nothing is growing, you don't see the growth, you feel like it's just not worth your time, then you have to realize that what God gives you, he adds no sorrow. So if he gave you the vision, if he gave you the ideas, if he gave you the dreams, then he's definitely going to give you the tools. Now, I say that to say, faith without works is dead. So you definitely have to do your part. Like, he's just not going to be like, okay, here's the vision, here's the tools, you're done, just work it. Like, that's definitely not how that's going to happen. He's not going to give you anything that isn't going to intrigue your interest. Like, whatever you're passionate about is what he's going to give you, what he's going to add to. So if there is something that you're passionate about and you have all these visions, all these dreams, all these goals for that passion, God is definitely going to add the tools and the resources for it. But you have to put in the lead work, just like my podcasting. Like, it's phenomenal. It's a great tool. It's a great platform for me. I had to put in the lead work. I have to continue to put in the lead work. If I wanted to grow, if I wanted to succeed, if I wanted to be successful, I have to do the lead work and then gotta add the rest. Well, here's the thing about that as well. You have to want it bad enough to fight for it. Just like our lives. Like, we want our lives. We want to breathe. We want great health. We want to lose weight. We want to look good. We want great hair. We want, whatever. But you have to want it bad enough to go out and get it, right? So I want to live in a house. I gotta want it bad enough that I'm gonna go work a job, regardless of what it is, or however I come about this job or career, whatever. But I'm gonna put forth efforts to get what I want to obtain in life, to make sure that I'm, comfortable in life, make sure my kids are comfortable in life. So I'm gonna do whatever it takes, right? Well, that's just like your podcast. That's just like your business. That's just like my modeling studio. Whatever I have going, that is the same thing. Like, how bad do you want this? And so that is kind of where I am in my life. So for my pause, for the cause, that is what I have been going about. That's what I've been thinking on, focusing on, giving my everything to. So I even had to tell my kids that, my kids are so passionate about everything that they do, the sports and the theater and the music and dancing and whatever else, and I'm just like, listen, how bad do you want it? Like, yeah, we took a break. Like, even my kids took a break. Like, we're not doing any sports this summer. We just kind of retreated. Like, I had such a rough year, physically, mentally, spiritually. And I'm just like, listen, nobody do nothing else. Don't sign up for nothing. Don't sign me up for nothing. I'm stopping what I'm doing, so everybody else has to stop, and let's enjoy each other. And sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes that's exactly what life calls for. It's for you to stop and pause and say, hey, let's focus on what's in front of me. Let me regain and rekindle this fire between me and my children, this fire between me and my spouse. And, let me focus in on my 9 to 5. Like, make sure I'm not dropping the ball there. Let me focus in on my studio. If I want to just focus in on one thing at a time, then that's what that time is for. So don't get distracted. Don't get down on yourself. Take the time that you need and refocus, regain your strength, and regain your vision. If you have to go back and revamp your vision, then go back and revamp your vision. I'm not saying anything was wrong with what I have going on. Like, nothing is wrong with my vision. Nothing is wrong with the way I have things set up. It was just breathtaking. Life happens. Some things happened in my life actually back in May. And it took everything in me not to drown emotionally. And so in order for me not to drown emotionally, I had to stop. Like, I didn't want to burn out because I have 4 kids and a spouse. Like, I can't burn out and just lose myself. So I took a break and I stopped. And so in life, just remember, taking a break, pausing, whatever you want to call it, revamping, whatever. Don't let people make you feel bad for doing that. This is your life. You only get to live it once. And a lot of times we don't even live it the way we want to. So do you, be you. Don't forget, my favorite saying, if you don't do you, then you won't be done. So go live life, go enjoy life. The business that you're building, the time that you need for you, sorry guys, are both important. They're equally important. So you just have to figure out which one is the most important for you at that time. And for me, at this past time, taking a break, pausing, focusing on my family, enjoying our summer break was the most important thing that I could have done for us. And so I am back, and I just wanted you guys to know, and I'm super excited about what I have coming up. I have some great interviews coming up. I'm super excited about those. I have some great things coming up in my studio. Super excited about those events. And, I'm just going to kind of ease back into things kind of slowly. So if you don't hear from me every week, you'll definitely hear from me every 2 weeks. But I did not want to not post this week. So that is what this podcast is all about. And sorry about all the blurbs and the mistakes. But I have learned that I'm going to make mistakes. And I need people to see me raw and unfiltered and without all the editing. So stay tuned, because I am going to definitely be doing some unedited, very raw videos on my Instagram and to kind of boost and, build up my audience for my podcast. I'm going to be doing some very raw and unfiltered things as well. So just stay tuned for those things. So super excited about this new version of me. And, I was thinking our hair goes through stages in life. I don't know if you guys knew that. Our bodies go through different stages in life. I didn't really want to be like too vulgar, but like your cycle changes every, I think 10 years is what they say. Like, so if our hair changes every few years or every 10 years, I don't know how often our hair changes, but your hair goes through different cycles in life. Your body goes through different cycles in life. And so why can't your business go through different cycles? Why can't your visions go through different cycles? Like, so don't let people judge you for changing who you are, because as we evolve as a person, as a woman, everything else in my life has to evolve too. I can't stay the same. So your business won't stay the same. The way you look won't stay the same. So why do we think things have to be so precise and so cut and measured and put into this exact size box? It doesn't. In the beginning of my intro, I tell you all the time, like, this is where you will learn how to erase the lines of the box, because you can't be contained. And so don't let this world contain you into this certain box. I think, if anything, religion, social media, politics have all shown us in the past few years that lines can be erased and blurred at any point in time. But for women, for some reason, we think our lines have to stay a certain shape and size. And I don't get that. So anyways, this is me, unfiltered, uncut, and very raw. And you know what? I don't care. Forget people, forget what they think. Today I was at work and I was thinking, I went, and this is very simple. But for people who know me and they're listening to me, I'm like, oh my God, Ebony. But we got dessert today. We got a snack. One of the drug reps brought us a snack this afternoon. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to go back here and get my friends, pie. And this is very simple, guys, but this is just speaks volumes about who I am. So I went back there and I got her pie for her. We had cheesecake today for a snack. And so I went and got her cheesecake. And I gave it to her. And like, I kind of felt bad because I didn't get the other girl that was sitting next to her cheesecake. And you may be like, Ebony, this is so elementary. But for me, it's not, because I don't like for people not to like me. I don't like for people to look at me a certain way. I don't like for people to think, oh, you're this, you're that. So like, I try my best to, and some of my friends told me this weekend that they think I'm a people pleaser. I really don't think I'm a people pleaser. I think I'm very far from being a people pleaser, but I don't like for people not to like me. So, I didn't get her cake. And like, there was this big ordeal in my brain. Like, should you go get hers? Like, I don't want her to think that I'm playing favoritism, or, like, oh my gosh, she didn't get hers and she didn't get mine. Like, how rude. And for me, I just was like, you know what? Forget her. I don't care what she thinks. I want to go get my friend's cake, and I want to get my friend's cake. Me and her, it's like, that's it. Go get your own, you on your own, whatever. But like, my whole thought process was, I don't care. Like, I'm just over what people think. I'm over everything. I'm over being held back. I'm over being, judged for being who I am, what I look like, what shape and size I am. My doctor actually told me today that he noticed that I've lost a certain amount of weight. And I was like, yeah, I've been working really hard, blah, blah, blah. He was like, no, I feel like you've lost like 30 pounds last time I saw you. Now, I just saw this man a week ago. Like, yeah, we were on, the office was closed, of course, for the holiday. But I'm like, so wait, what? And it's hilarious how people notice certain things. And I say people with air quotes, like men. It's hilarious because I took off my jacket, and I always wear a jacket in the office. And I'm really thinking he just really noticed how much weight I lost because I took off my jacket today, and he just saw me in just my scrubs and not my jacket on top of my scrubs. But I mean, it was flattering, I guess. I was appreciative that he noticed, but then I was like, dude, like, notice my work. Like, and he does. And I'm not being a butthole. He does notice my work. He always tells me when, we have a great day at work, blah, blah. But I'm just like, isn't it typical? Like, it's just typical for people to notice the physical things about you and not the mental or the emotional or the, like that type of growth. Like, notice that growth. But anyways, I just thought that was weird today. But, and I'm not complaining because yes, I've lost a significant amount of weight, but I'm just kind of like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, who cares? I remember telling my cousin one time that another doctor that I worked for noticed my hair, and he had something to say about my hair every single time I changed it. Now, come on, women. We know we change our hair like well, I change my hair at least every 2 to 3 months. I have a different hairstyle. I was telling my cousin that I realized that, I came in with like a different color, or I don't know, it was something different. But, and my doctor commented on it. She was like, why did he come in on your hair? And I was like, I don't know. But she was like, was that the only thing that he can notice? Like, why does he feel like it's okay for him to come in on your hair? And I was like, that's a good question. And I'm not, and please, by all means, I love physicians. So I hope if I have physicians listening, it's nothing towards physicians. It's just the fact that men, we all know, like, men are intrigued by what they see and they're not stimulated by mental or emotional growth. But, women can be the same way. We can definitely stimulate it by physical instead of intelligence or emotional growth. So, but anyways, I just said all that to say, I don't really care about what people think anymore. I'm living my life for me. I'm so grateful that you guys have been steady and growing with me through this process. I love you, and I love you guys so much, and I just really appreciate you. And I appreciate your emotional and intelligent growth as well. Even though I can't see you physically, I know you guys are growing beautifully out there, physically and emotionally. So again, thank you guys. But that is what this podcast is all about, the raw, unfiltered me. Okay, so I will see you guys next Tuesday, because I do have a few interviews coming up already scheduled, already been brewing and editing and, going through transition as we do. So I don't want you guys to think, oh, she's just going to be careless about her podcast now. No, I'm not. I am just making my life filtered around me. But growth, you guys know I'm all about growth. I'm all about stimulating other women as well. I'm all about, indulging and depositing and feeding women. Like, I want you to be the best you that you can be. So there it is, okay? You will definitely hear from me. Don't worry about that. I will not be dropping the ball. All right, guys. Well, I love you, and I will see you guys next Tuesday.